Sean Diddy Combs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have always thought he was a creep.
No, really. Tell me how you feel. I'm your host, Christy Chanelle, and this is the Love You Miss You Bye podcast. Hi, and welcome to Love You Miss You Bye. Today, I have JoJo on the show, and I have been following her and watching her from afar until finally one day we actually connected and realized we have a lot of the same interests. But what I love about her is not only does she cover the stories, the hot headlines out there, and true crime, she's also a victim advocate, which is huge. And I honestly think that's what I love about her the most. So I want to welcome JoJo to the show.
Thank you, Christy. Thank you so much for having me. This has been a long time coming, and I'm really excited to be here.
I'm excited to have you. So before we get started in some of these really interesting topics, I want to know about you. Okay, JoJo, tell me how you got started in this whole talking with JoJo on social media.
I came to TikTok. I think I posted my first video. It'll be a year in January. I have always been a true crime, pop culture, justice kind of fanatic, I guess you would say. I love advocating for people. I've been advocating for people, I told you, in my full-time career with developmental disabilities it'll be 35 years this year. So it's just, I wanted to do something that would heighten my advocacy on a different level. And I just really got into the true crime. I've always loved it. I've been a true crime fan since the 90s. I've watched OJ's trial as it was happening.
Same.
But when I came to TikTok, it was really to advocate for the victims of the Long Island serial killer. It was a case that I had followed from the moment the first first 4 sets, I should say, of remains were found back in 2010. And it was just something that, for me, living on Long Island, New York, all of my life, we never had a case like this before. Not to this grand, with so many victims and so many different, centralized spots that were kind of in, I hate to say it, but they were in line with each other. So I was fascinated by it. So when I came to TikTok, it was really more on the local level, and it's just taken off.
It really has, because right now you have 11,000 followers on TikTok. So you're able to be part of the creator program, which I'm sure for all the people that are creating now want to be a part of that program.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it was it had to feel so good, because you're constantly making sure that you're out there. You're constantly making sure that you're doing your lives, which I'm so excited about, because I think you inspire me, because going live terrifies me, JoJo. I know I've told you this before. I've actually talked about you in a couple of my short videos saying JoJo is out there doing it, and she's not afraid of all of the trolls and all of the haters out there that can just pop up out of nowhere. And I'd like to know how you got the courage to do that and how you handle trolls on your live.
I had become a friend of somebody on the app who was going live every single night. And I spent a lot of time in her lives. And she actually encouraged me to go live. And when I started doing it, at first, there was 4 people in the room. And I was like, this isn't what I came to TikTok for. Why am I even bothering? So, I just wanted to put up videos, have my say. And, maybe I was looking for a little attention. I don't know. But I wanted to do my advocacy work. Yeah, I wanted to do my advocacy work, and I wanted to put it out there and just see what happens. And, going live was something, first of all, when I joined TikTok, I didn't even know you can do. I had no idea.
Yeah.
No clue. And when I finally decided to go live, I did a couple little fun things. I did a trivia night, and then and I'm I work on all these cases. I probably really should be doing lives about this stuff. So I started watching other true crime creators. I had a friend on the app who actually since passed away, and she was in the anti-bullying movement. And she also really encouraged me to go live. She would go live every night. And she introduced me to some other true crime creators on the platform who were doing it. And I started going to their lives and I'm like, I can do this. Why not? So I joined Jaw Media, which is a TikTok agency. I got an offer to join them. Once I hit, they kind of ask you once you get like over your 5,000 mark. And I got over my 5,000 mark, I think in May. So I've been with Jaw since July. I love them. They're great. They keep me, you have to do the 20 hours a month with them. So they keep me focused. They keep me wanting to go live because I have to fulfill my commitment.
Okay, wait. I've never even heard of them. So of course, because I'm barely scratching the surface of 3,000. So what is this?
What they do is they're a live agency, and if you join them, they help you push your lives out. So in joining them, my lives have grown, and I can't say it's all just them. I think it's the consistency. I think it's going live consistently. I go at least 3 or 4 nights a week now, and it's bringing what people want. If you're bringing what people want to a live, they're going to come back. Mm-hmm. So, and I hit on a lot of the live broadcasts are more what's going on right now. Like we did the Luigi Mangione case Monday and Tuesday night. By Tuesday night, Chrissy, I had to take a break. I mean, I was shocked after that live. I was so I don't know if I should say that. I was so tired. But
this is a podcast. You're good to go.
It's like you have all that TikTok speak, and I'm like,
I know.
That's why I want to come over to YouTube because I can say killer there. I can't say it on TikTok.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That's the same for me, JoJo, is because I started out in the green plant cannabis industry, and I was looking for a way.
Wow.
And it was like oils and stuff that I have behind me on there that are for your face and for your hair, and I couldn't, and I also had like a subscription box. So that was my first venture into business, and I couldn't talk about cannabis. Anywhere I went, I was getting violations. So I had to learn how to kind of skirt the word without actually using it. And it was actually a great learning experience, but that's why I jumped over to another Christy Chanelle with a whole other thing, because I wanted to be able to speak my mind, speak how I'm feeling. But that's also the reason I got into podcasting. So this is a free platform. Curse, do your thing. People that listen to me know I do all the time. But yeah, so lives, I know you said, I saw a video where you were talking about, okay, let me set the record straight regarding one of your lives.
Yeah.
Back to the troll thing. How do you handle that when you're actually not face to face, but you're watching these comments come through?
Usually I welcome them. When I get Donald and Kamala coming through, I usually tell them, behave yourself. You can stay, but we don't talk about politics or religion.
There you go. Yep.
And they say, and sometimes they'll just say, we're just here to watch you. And I'm like, okay, behave yourself. I had a rough live one night last week that I know which video you're talking about because I did it after, because I had to go back and rewatch it. I was pretty much accused of convicting Luigi Mangione.
Lord.
And he hasn't even been extradited to New York yet. So number one, no. And I when I have the lives, I've been getting more interactive. I let people come in and they call it, you put them up in the box. And I let people come in, I let them talk. I get their opinions. Even if they disagree with me, it's okay. We can disagree. But this woman that had come into the box, she disagreed to me to the point of where she was I felt like I was getting words put into my mouth, and my followers were tearing her apart in the chat.
Yeah.
I felt terrible. They're like, this is JoJo's live. Who do you think you are? Throw her out. And I was like, oh my gosh. And I finally said to the lady, I said, look, you're getting a lot of heat here. I'm going to have to put you down. And then she left the live. I think she blocked me.
So that didn't end well. But maybe it did, actually. Maybe it did end well. But so you were able to handle that with grace. I would, I don't know if I could. I wear my emotions on my sleeve, and I think that's one of the biggest things. I'm like, excuse me. The Jersey in me comes out, and it's very hard sometimes to hold it back. I can't help it. But I'm glad that you did that with Grace. I have to jump in. I've only seen one of your lives, and I have to jump in because I want to see you at work. I want to watch and see how you handle all that stuff. That's pretty awesome.
Sure. I
Mhm.
also do post them on my YouTube channel. I haven't been posting as much lately. I'm going to get back to it because I actually can go live on YouTube. I have enough followers. That's something that I'm looking towards. So, and I would love to have you.
Yes. Yes. I actually, my mind is always going. I'm always trying to figure what's the next thing I want to work on. What's the next thing I want to work on? I am ready to go more live on YouTube. And I'm not saying I don't want to do it on TikTok, but I feel like YouTube is really the wave of the future. And you can actually do much better there because you have long form content that people really get to know you, and that's where you create your community. And they're doing a lot of great things on YouTube. So this whole year I've been working on that. And, my goal for the end of the year was to hit 300. And I'm at 365. So
Congratulations. You're well on your way.
Yeah. So I was like, okay, just set small goals and then go for it. And so I definitely think you and I should hook up on YouTube and do that. And I have an idea and we can cut this out if you want to, but I'm just going to tell you because I'm thinking about it. I have an idea where now I'm starting to talk, when I talk about certain topics, I will bring in maybe a clip or something from a TikToker or something I'm seeing that I know I won't get copyrighted for. And so maybe when I hit a certain topic, you could possibly come in with your own short that you've created that I can put into this and actually introduce you on the topic that you're talking about. And that way I can have an expert that's actually studying it and share with the audience. And so this is your introduction to my audience. And I'd love to have you back as a regular, especially if there's developing news.
Absolutely. I'd love to come back on at any time. I mean, I actually am in the process of gaining enough followers. I can go live now on multiple platforms. So, TikTok was the start, but is it going to be end game? I don't think so.
I don't think so either. And I actually have that on my list. How are you feeling about the TikTok potential ban January 19th?
I am feeling so stressed about it that as of January 1st, Talking with JoJo is going to start live streaming on YouTube, Facebook. I also can go on Rumble and Twitch.
Okay, so we'll be able to find you. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not going anywhere. I mean, this was just to get me started. Like I said, it was like a passion project, a hobby project. JoJo can't shut her mouth, so she might as well just let the world hear me, I guess. And, it was, it's just taken on this form that I am not ready. Even if TikTok does go bye-bye, I am not ready to say goodbye to this. No way.
No, you're just getting started. You're just getting started. I will tell you, I started out when I was doing my podcasting for this year on Love You, Miss You, Bye as more of a mental health advocate and working through with my own past and what I've learned from it because I'm 51, so we're in the same age ballpark. And
oh my God, I thought you were like 40. I thought you were so much younger than me.
No, we're 51. I'm 51.
You don't look it.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I need to go. I want to try Botox, but that's a whole nother subject. Okay, we'll get there. Right? It's so expensive, though. I'm like, once you start, you got to continue to do it. But one of the things as I started out there, I accidentally stumbled on true crime, and I was doing the Wade Wilson, and all of the sound bites I was hearing that he was just conning people and everything that was happening there. So I decided to do a podcast episode on it and released it on YouTube. That video is almost at 9,000 views with so many comments. I know. I was like, whoa, okay, so there is a big following on true crime. And I wasn't even trying to dip there. I was just trying to talk about manipulation and what women find interesting about men in prison and why would they want to pay their bill. You know what I mean? All that stuff was just spewing over me because I'm like, I have had an ex in prison and it was horrible. I didn't want to pay his bills. So I started to get into that topic a little bit and I realized how big it actually is.
Huge.
Yeah. What is your latest topic that you're totally invested in?
Devin Perkins.
Okay, let's talk about it.
I know you had watched my videos this morning, and I know that's why I wanted to bring him up because, this was what's really been great about TikTok, Christy, is your followers, if they like you and they're enjoying you, they'll ask you for help. So I had a follower that messaged me through TikTok. I had gotten a message after one of my lives, and she said, "Can you do me a favor? This is a case out of Volusia County, Florida, it's insane. And I really think you should do a piece on it." So I said, all right, I'll take a look. So she sent me Devin's mom's profile. I go into TikTok, I look at, Devin's mom's profile. I start reposting stuff. I start looking and I'm like, what? This is not right. It took me over a month to do all the digging I needed to do. And at the end of it, this kid I cannot believe this boy is behind bars right now.
Tell me a little bit about him. Tell me a little bit about the story.
He's 25 years old. He was out one night with his girlfriend, who is also known as Allspice on TikTok. She was a very, very big TikToker, and two other friends. They were out for the night. He was the designated driver. And they were coming home, and they were coming from Orlando County back to Volusia County, Florida. They were on State Route 44, which is a pretty dark highway at night, around 2 o'clock in the morning. And a man who had been driving for almost 9 clocked miles on the wrong side of the highway with no headlights on slammed into him. This kid is lucky to be alive. He was non-responsive and almost passed away by the time he got to the hospital. He's lucky to be alive. Why he is in jail?
I have to be missing something because that doesn't make any sense to me.
No.
That doesn't make any sense to me.
And the more I looked into it, the man that hit him, he was at a fraternal order of police bar, an FOP bar. So if you know anything about the Fraternal Order of Police, it's a very tight-knit type of organization. And he was given the keys to drive his friend's truck home. So this kid, Devin, was in like this Nissan Infinity, and Thomas Petrie was in this Toyota Tacoma. So now Devin he's driving at, they say he was speeding. He was clocked at like 90 miles an hour, which in Florida, if it's 65 is the speed zone, it's not unheard of. Mm-hmm. And Thomas was also traveling at, I want to say about 65 miles an hour at that point in the Tacoma, no headlights on, and then slammed into Devin's car, pretty much, killing the 3 passengers on impact. Devin goes in the hospital for 3 months. They do toxicology on him, and they find out his alcohol level is 0.002, when 0.008 in Florida is considered drunk. And his THC levels were 3.0 times 1.0, which tells me he might be having a hemp gummy once in a while, if that. So when you look at his levels and, yes, he was speeding. Okay. But his levels and his reaction time based on forensic testimony during the trial cleared him. It's just, it makes me, I feel so bad for the families. It's an outrage.
So what are they convicting him on? What are they saying?
Vehicular manslaughter. Him and the other guy, the guy that actually killed everybody.
So they're saying he's guilty of that, even though he was on the right side of the road and he took a gummy, from my understanding.
We don't know if it was a gummy. I'm just guessing based on the levels of THC that were found in his blood. So, I'm not saying it was a gummy. I'm saying it was so low. If you're in the cannabis business, there's certain things that aren't going to, you can drive and take. It's just how it is. So,
well, and not only that, it's usually if you take a gummy or smoke some or however you consume it, typically it makes you drive slower, not faster.
I mean, the defense attorneys, I have a feeling the first set of defense attorneys, because the mom, Devin's mom, had to fire them. They're the ones that brought in the alcohol and THC evidence that wasn't previously admissible, because they started asking one of the witnesses, oh, did they look like they were on something? Oh, did they smoke any? I mean, I don't know the exact verbiage, but why would you ask that? You're defending him. Why would you even bring that in when you're told it wasn't even admissible? So by him opening up that line of questioning, it made the judge think and say, all right, let's look at that now, because a judge can do that.
So where are we now? He's been convicted of 30 years. Is that what she's?
He's been convicted. He faces a 30-year sentence. His mother has hired new defense attorneys. They have a hearing at the end of January to see where they're going to go with this. What I'm hoping for is, if we keep shouting from the rooftops, somebody is going to do something. But she's got a lot of people in her corner. She's a wonderful person. Even the victims' family members, they are advocating to release Devin. So,
I'm glad to
I
hear
wish
that.
I could fly down there and pick it outside the court. So that's how much I'm so passionate about this kid, because he's got his whole life ahead of him. If they let this go through like this, they're going to destroy his life. No, that's not good enough. That's just not good enough.
No, it isn't. And I'm glad that you're out there fighting for him.
Like I said, as a mom, it breaks my heart. And, when I really started getting into the case and I talked to his mom, and, you want to put that video out there. And I'm like, I'm gaining a platform. I'm gaining a following. Let me do this now before TikTok goes the way of the whatever. And, let's get it going, and then I'll post it up on YouTube.
That's exciting that, she's going to come on your show and discuss this so that everybody can get on board and everybody can find out. I did hear you in one of your shorts say that there was a website. Do you want to tell everybody the website? I'll put it below and I can link it in the show notes of the podcast.
Well, that would be awesome for her. Yes. His mom, Victoria Maxwell, she has developed this website. It is amazing. She goes over everything in the case. I got a lot of information from there. It's called savedevin.com, and it's SAVE Devin, DEVIN.com.
Okay. All right, everybody. Go help Devin out, okay? He can't do it by himself. He's in prison, so we need to help him get out. Let's move on. The CEO, Brian Thompson, you mentioned that you have some background in some of this, so I'm dying to hear your opinions on what's going on.
I don't have a health insurance background. I can't really speak to all that. What I can tell you is I come from the theory that no matter what someone has done, it is never okay to kill somebody. It's not.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And I have been beaten up in my lives over this the last couple of days. And the last couple I had over the last week. And I didn't go live Wednesday or Thursday because I was like, oh my gosh, I was so tired from it. I had people coming in and telling me that, they blamed Brian Thompson or they blamed United Healthcare, and because their child had passed away, they had cancer, or they had this. People were coming into my chat so angry. That was hard. That was hard. And a lot of them were treating him as a modern day Robin Hood. And Christy, I got to be honest with you, I just don't see it. There was another way. He was smart. He was educated. Good looking. He had money, came from money. He had resources. He had so much going for him that you or I have struggled most of our lives to get to. He already has. And I think he had a mental health breakdown. I think he had a very bad back injury, or, I know he had spinal stenosis. My husband suffers from that. It's a very, very debilitating condition. I think he took the law into his own hands to make a statement and thought he would be a hero. And honestly, he will be in some people and a lot of people's eyes.
Yeah, a lot of people.
He will be.
A lot of people.
Not mine, but he will be.
Mm-hmm. So I had heard that there was something that had to do with his mother's health as well in the manifesto. I think everybody knew that it was definitely having to do with health and in the way of being denied. Defend, deny, depose seems to be the three magical words that everybody keeps repeating. And some say it's from a book. Some say it has to do with insurance company mottos. But I would agree that this is not something to be celebrated. Somebody's life was taken on a public street. And but let's just flip it for a second. I believe that there's a lot of frustration when it comes to big corporations and greed and corruption. And people are looking for somebody to stand up for them. This is not the person, but people are looking for somebody to say, advocate for me, advocate for my family. And I think that's where the lines are being crossed and why good people that are of sound mind feel the need to push him up on a pedestal because nobody's listening to them. And maybe something good might come out of it in the long run. Let's not make his life being taken in vain. Let's do something with it, and make something positive from it. And that's hopefully what we can do by sharing this story, by not making him a hero, but actually talking about the root cause of why people feel this way.
Yeah. And, I think that I agree with you. I think that there is an important lesson to be learned in this. It's just a shame that it had to come to this. I struggle with our government is reactionary. So now we have a law, a business monopoly law out of all of that's being posed into Congress, which is fine. I think that when you look at something like this, it's hard, even though you may not agree, to not have empathy and sympathy for people that were harmed by the decisions of whomever. And I mean, you got to remember though, too, this is the figurehead of the company. Was he really making all the decisions? No, he worked for somebody. He was a paid employee. So, when you look at that, did it have to be him for symbolism? No. I mean, there's a lot to it that I really do hope we could learn something from it, because there are children that have now lost their dad. He had kids. A brother lost their family member. A wife. I mean, I know they were separated, but they seem to be on good terms. Lost the father of her children. I mean, and you have to think of that. Was he the one signing all the denials? No. A lot of them, and a lot of people don't know this, were artificially it was artificial intelligence. It was a computer program. 90,000 insurance claim denials were made through AI. It wasn't Brian Thompson signing the dotted line. It was through AI. So, when you want to say this guy, yes, if you want to ascribe to that theory, and I can't.
Right.
If you want to ascribe to that theory, okay, fine. But, look at the human aspect of it. There's a human aspect of it. And the fact that, it wasn't just this guy who was involved. There was plenty of entities involved. Some of them we're even going to find out were probably tied to Big Pharma. So, I mean, you look at all of these things and, you say, okay, I understand the frustration. I understand that people are getting sick, aren't getting their coverage. Some people are even losing their lives. But to me, just, the act didn't match what the intent was. I would have loved to have seen him become like a lawyer or a human rights advocate. I mean, he had the money, become a politician, make things better.
Make a difference.
And I do think in his head, he does think this was his way of doing. I do think that.
Yeah. I mean, with the monopoly money, he does say all that stuff was planted, right?
Yeah.
I think that's the last I heard.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I guess we're going to get to see this play out fully in court and find out all the twists and turns that are there. So this will definitely be a hot topic to come. I would like to say the AI twist on this. Ironically, I did an episode with my best friend who lives in Jersey. And she is HR and she's an attorney and she has all this thing, these things going. And we did an AI episode. And this was months and months and months ago. And she said, one of my big worries as an attorney and being in HR is that AI pulls from the past and they use that information of the information they know out there. And then that can be discriminatory against people without even trying.
It could be discriminatory in a way. So if in 2021, it was only men who do this or only women who do this, then if you ask it for something in 23 or 24, it may just think that, okay, well, we can't generate that for you because you're a woman and this is really for a man. Just silly sort of things like that.
I find it really crazy that now it's actually coming into play in this healthcare world that we're living in. That's crazy.
I just think this whole year has been crazy. I mean, I have seen so many things happen this year that I always not to get off of Brian Thompson, but
whatever,
Sean Diddy Combs. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
I have always thought he was a creep.
No, really. Tell me how you feel.
I always got a feeling about him. And my daughter a couple of years ago started saying there's something going on with Diddy. Something's not right. He's, I think he's doing things he shouldn't be doing. Justin Bieber doesn't look right. But when it all started to come to a head this year, I was like,
he's a bigger creep than you thought.
Wow.
I mean,
okay.
When we first saw the baby oil, I was like, what in the hell? What in the lube is going on here? And
what's really going on, Christy?
What's really going on, JoJo? But they're saying there's actually stuff in the baby oil. Mm-hmm. It's like, my mind doesn't know how to go there. So I never even thought about that until I started hearing all of this stuff. What blew your mind the most about this whole case?
I think the whole racketeering end of it, I knew he was like a pig, but I mean, I didn't realize that there was this whole big trafficking thing going on. I think, and that's the thing that bothers me the most about it is the trafficking. If he was going to have these parties and I really wouldn't care if nobody wasn't getting hurt, but the trafficking, the abuse, the illicit drugs, the horse tranquilizer, what the hell?
I haven't heard that. What? He was giving that to people?
They said it was like a horse tranquilizer in an IV. He would put it in a drink and then the person would not even know what was going on for days. I guess they would know what was going on. They had some sense of awareness, but they were so drugged up that, they couldn't fight. They were drugged up.
Mm-hmm.
And, that really this is wild. It's wild. It's like the mafia times 10. It's wild.
It is. And to know how deep his power went is very scary. I mean, just
Absolutely.
Imagine being a victim thinking,
no,
you have nothing here. You can't do anything here. Zero.
No.
Period.
No.
He's the law. He's the jury.
And the fact that he still thinks that he can even, from the MDC, try and tamper with witnesses, run his empire through his children, which is horrible. It just disgusts me. I hope he never gets out.
No, I do too. And I would ask you, do you think there's going to be more people coming out soon? Or we're going to find out more?
I know there is.
Well, we know Jay-Z's been implicated.
Not surprising.
Yeah, I think that one everybody knew was coming.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't figured out if Usher is a victim and, an assailant. I don't know exactly what's going on with Usher.
I want to say it's a little bit of both.
See, that's what I had a feeling on.
That's my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Just because, he was so in that world with him And the fact that when he was interviewed and said, "Oh no, I'd never let my kids go to one of his parties," what does that tell you? But you let Justin Bieber go.
Yeah.
Your buddy, you were mentoring him. I mean, look what they did to him. And that's
That
all
really
yet to be
heartbreaking.
determined. But yeah. I mean, the poor kid.
And so, and that makes you look back at his songs and think there's more to his pain and sorrow than just being lonely or being this and being that. He's a victim, and it's heartbreaking. And you know, that's another part of me. It's like, imagine having to go through that anyway, and then have everybody in the world talking about it over and over and over. That's like horrendous. It's torturous.
Be careful what you wish for when you want fame, right?
Love you, miss you, bye.